Hi guys, this is the second tutorial on React TypeScript series and continuing the React TypeScript series. So in the last video we saw a couple of data types in TypeScript. I guess we saw number, string and boolean. So since I'm continuing the series, we'll be looking at array objects and array of objects in this tutorial. Uh, so for this video I'm using VS Code and I have created a React TypeScript project using Vite, and for now we have a simple app component, and so let's get started. Okay, so I have one more component called show list, so I'll be doing something there. So let's import show list here. And by the way, I'm using a extension called tsrfc. Okay, I guess I'll have to create a new component. Let's create one, list view dot tsx ts. Okay, it's not showing me intelligence. Anyway, let's create a component called list view and return some tsx, probably a two for now. Okay, so what we are trying to do here, so we have our list view component. Let's import it in app.tsx. Okay, so since we're looking at, okay, so we'll be looking at array for now, then we'll move on to objects and array of objects. So let's give it a prop and send an array of numbers. Okay, so if we have our data, it's saying it's not assignable to this type. Okay, no problem, because we are gonna use this data. And so guys, we have type and interface in TypeScript. So for now, let's see with interface, then I'll be showing you the same thing with type as well. So we can call it list view props, and so we have this data prop, right? So we'll be using data here, and we know it's an array of numbers. So let's make it an array of number. Okay, let's define it this way. Let's not define it for now. And yeah, so for now empty object, and let's use our props. Now if we type data, you can see we have list view props dot data, and that is an array of numbers. Cool. So if I have a data now, it's a type of number, right? I'm not going to run the app and display it because it will work. So this is how we can use array of numbers in React TypeScript. And so similarly, if we want to use array of a string like 1, 2, 3, 4, anything, but now since if I have a one type string is not assignable to type number, yeah, so it's because in our list view component we have defined data as array of number, right? Which we used earlier, right? But now we are passing the data as an array of string, right? So we'll have to change here, so it will be type of string here. And now you see the app component is good, happy now, so it's not throwing any errors. So, and the rest of things are the same. So again we have data and let's do props, so we are not going to change it. So yeah, so this is how we can create array of strings. Then again we have objects, right? So as promised, so let's pass an object, and for now just pass it, just give it a name John and maybe city. Let's call it USA. Okay, so if I have a name is not assignable, when I have a this object, it's saying it's not assignable type string of array of a string, right, because we have a different type here, array of string. And by the way, we can write it this way as well, string, both are the same things, and it will work for numbers as well if we just give number and these brackets, right? So now we have an object here, so we're gonna have to change our type here. So let's make an object and name. So we know our name is type of a string and it is also type of string, right? Now if you see app.tsx is happy, it's not throwing any errors. And for data, if you have a data, we have name and city. And for example, if you want to display it, just do data dot city and name. You see, this is what I like about TypeScript, because we have this IntelliSense available in TypeScript, city and name. We can use it. And if you have our own name, it's saying name string. So we know, yeah, name is type of string and city is also type of string. But let's say if we add ID here and just give some value, but see, now it's throwing in error. It's saying ID number name string city string is not assignable to type. Object return may only specify known properties. Yeah, because ID does not exist on our type, right? Because in data we have name and city, but again I have defined ID, so one property has been added to this object. To solve this problem, just take our ID here and give it a type number. Now you see, sorry for that. Now see, we have ID, name and city, so everything is fine. Now let's say you want to make these props optional, right? So that's simple. We just have to come here and just give it, add a question mark in the end to any property, like this. Now these props are optional here, so even if I delete it, right, everything is working fine, right? Because that prop is optional. I mean, now these three props are optional, or just one prop. Or instead of doing this, we can use something called partial. So it's a generic basically in TypeScript. So we have utility classes here. Now it's saying, since we have made it optional, so if we have our data, it's saying data is possibly undefined. Yeah, so it could be undefined, right? We don't want to make it undefined, right? So we can use a utility class called partial, or we can define this way: id, name and city. Okay, so now we talked about objects. Now let's change our type here and let's talk about array of objects. So do maybe name John, city maybe USA. That's pretty strong. Okay, it's working now. Now if you have our data, it's saying id, number, name, string, city has no properties in common with type. Okay, that's okay. Now let's go to a v component. For now I'm going to use optional chaining because I don't want our data to be undefined, right? So for now these props are optional. Let's remove them. Let's not make them optional and remove partial. And by the way, if you wanna have a look at these utility classes, please go to TypeScript official website and you can have a look. There are several utility classes you can use, like partial, required, lots of things are there. So now we have array of objects here, and for now I have passed only one object that has id, name, city. So let's create a type for this one. I think we have the same structure here: id, name and city. Okay, so what we have to do, we just have to make it an array. Now if you have our data, it's saying it's an array of object that has id, name, city. And if you want to display it, just we're gonna have to take the zeroth index dot city, id or name, anything, or maybe just can display, right? So this is how we can work with normal data types, array of objects, these things. So maybe next video we'll be looking at generics.